Welcome to the channel. Today we're talking about the top 4 rarest US coins that could be worth a fortune. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our exciting content. Let's start with number 1. The 1983 USA 1-dime coin. A seemingly ordinary coin that you might find jingling around in the bottom of your pocket or tucked away in a drawer, holds a rich history that is far more intriguing than most people realize. To understand the significance of this coin, it's important to look at the broader context of its time, its design, the circumstances of its minting, and how it has become a sought-after collector's item today. The year 1983 was a pivotal moment in American history, and it stands as a key moment in the story of U.S. coinage. Let's travel back in time for a moment to understand the political and economic climate of the early 80s. The United States, still reeling from the economic struggles of the 1970s, was entering the Reagan era, a period of economic recovery and change. The nation was beginning to shift from the crisis mentality of the previous decade to a more optimistic outlook. As part of this transformation, American currency was undergoing its own changes as well. The 1983 1-dime coin, which is part of the Roosevelt dime series, has a story that extends back to the end of World War II. In 1946, the U.S. Treasury decided to create a new dime that would honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away in 1945. Roosevelt had been a beloved figure, known for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, and his likeness was chosen for the dime to immortalize his legacy. The design of the coin, which features Roosevelt's portrait on the obverse or front side, was created by the renowned sculptor John R. Zinc. Zinc, who was also the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time, crafted a dignified and respectful image of Roosevelt that has remained largely unchanged for decades. It is one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coinage history. This coin, released in 1946, set the stage for the next several decades of dimes, including the 1983 version, and became a symbol of the country's respect for Roosevelt's leadership during some of its darkest hours. By the time 1983 rolled around, the design had remained largely unchanged, but the minting process had evolved. In the early 1980s, the U.S. Mint had already been making significant adjustments to its coinage due to rising metal costs. The dime, like other coins of the era, was composed primarily of copper and nickel. However, the 1983 version stands out due to an interesting anomaly that happened during its minting process. In 1983, the U.S. Mint was still using a combination of copper and nickel in coinage production, but it had also begun experimenting with different materials and compositions. At that time, there were two distinct types of dimes produced: the regular copper-nickel clad version, and a rare, experimental coin struck with a composition that was primarily copper. This mistake occurred when the U.S. Mint began experimenting with the use of pure copper in its dimes, leading to the creation of a few dimes with a different metal mixture than what was intended. Now, before we get to how this unusual minting mistake led to a rare and valuable coin, let's dive into the specifications of the regular 1983 Roosevelt dime, which are quite standard for a coin of its era. The 1983 dime weighs 2.27 grams and has a diameter of 17.91 millimeters. The coin's reverse, backside, features a design of a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength, designed by the famous engraver Adolph A. Weinman. The motto E pluribus unum is inscribed above the image, and the coin's face value is prominently displayed, 1 dime. However, while these details apply to the vast majority of 1983 dimes that were struck, there was a small group of dimes that were produced with a different composition entirely. These coins, known as the 1983 copper dime, were a fluke of the minting process. They were made during a short period when the U.S. Mint was testing out new materials, and some of the copper planchets, the metal discs used to strike coins, that were meant for pennies were mistakenly fed into the dime presses. This mistake resulted in the creation of a very small number of dimes that were composed almost entirely of copper, rather than the typical copper-nickel blend. These rare dimes were strikingly different in appearance and weight compared to their counterparts. And over time, collectors began to realize just how valuable they had become. The discovery of these rare dimes was like finding a hidden treasure, an unexpected anomaly that had slipped through the cracks of the minting process and the years following their production. These copper dimes became the subject of intense interest among numismatists and collectors. The value of the 1983 copper dime skyrocketed as collectors began to hunt for these elusive coins. They became a sort of holy grail for coin enthusiasts, with only a handful of them in circulation. As with many rare coins, the scarcity of the 1983 copper dimes only added to their allure, driving up demand and their value on the secondary market. As the years went by, the 1983 copper dimes became more and more sought after, and eventually, a few of these rare coins were sold at auction for astronomical prices. In fact, the 1983 copper dime has become one of the most valuable modern U.S. coins, with some specimens fetching prices as high as $89,000 at auction, depending on their condition and provenance. This is a stunning price for a coin that, on its surface, seems like it should be worth no more than 10 cents. So, how did the 1983 copper dime achieve such an impressive value? It all comes down to rarity, and the fact that only a few coins were ever struck with this experimental copper composition. Additionally, the coins that have survived over the years are often in excellent condition, which further boosts their desirability among collectors. The coin's rarity and historical significance have combined to make it one of the most coveted items in the world of numismatics. To give you an idea of just how rare these 1983 copper dimes are, it's estimated that only a handful of them were ever produced, perhaps as few as 5 or 6. Because of this, they are incredibly difficult to find, and when one does turn up, it tends to create a stir in the numismatic community. Collectors and investors alike keep an eye out for these elusive coins, and their rarity has only increased their value over time. Now, if you happen to come across a 1983 dime, don't just assume it's one of these rare copper specimens. Most of the 1983 dimes you'll encounter are of the regular copper-nickel composition, and they're worth only a dime, of course. However, if you do suspect that you've found a rare copper dime, there are a few ways to check its authenticity. First, you'll want to examine the color of the coin. Copper dimes tend to have a reddish-brown hue, whereas the regular copper-nickel dimes have a more silvery color. Additionally, the weight of the coin is a key indicator. Copper dimes are heavier than their nickel-clad counterparts. A copper dime will typically weigh around 2.5 grams, compared to the 2.27 grams of a regular 1983 dime. If you think you found a rare 1983 copper dime, it's best to have it authenticated by a professional numismatist or submit it to a grading service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These organizations can verify the authenticity of the coin and give it a grade, which can significantly impact its value. But why are these coins so valuable? Beyond the rarity of the 1983 copper dime, its appeal lies in its place within the broader context of American coinage history. This coin represents a unique moment when an experimental process went awry and led to the creation of something truly special. It is a reminder that even in the world of coins, mistakes can sometimes lead to great fortune. In addition, the 1983 copper dime holds sentimental value for many collectors and investors. It's a tangible link to a moment in history, a piece of Americana that tells the story of an era marked by economic recovery, political change, and innovation. For numismatists, this coin represents the intersection of chance and history, and that makes it all the more compelling. For anyone interested in the world of coin collecting or looking to invest in rare coins, the 1983 copper dime is an incredible example of the potential rewards that can come from a seemingly insignificant mistake. What was once just another coin produced by the U.S. Mint has become a symbol of the incredible surprises that the world of numismatics has to offer. In conclusion, the 1983 USA one-dime coin, specifically the rare copper version, is a perfect example of how an ordinary object can become extraordinary. Its fascinating history, combined with its rarity and the fact that it can now fetch a staggering $89,000, makes it a standout piece in the world of coin collecting. So, the next time you're digging through your spare change, take a closer look at that dime. Who knows? You might just be holding a piece of history in your hand, and a coin worth a small fortune. In the world of coin collecting, certain coins stand out not only for their history and design, but also for their rarity and remarkable value. Today, we're going to take a closer look at the 1994 USA 5-cent coin, or more commonly known as the nickel. On the surface, it might seem like just another nickel, but as with many coins in the world of numismatics, it's not always the obvious ones that end up being the most valuable. Today, we'll explore its historical context, its design, the minting process, and the fascinating story behind why this particular coin has earned a place of prominence in the world of collectors. Most importantly, we'll reveal just how much this seemingly ordinary coin can be worth today. Spoiler alert, it's a lot more than you might think. Stick with us until the end to find out how one 1994 nickel has been known to fetch a jaw-dropping $57,000. Let's start by setting the stage. It's 1994. The United States was in the midst of a period of economic growth following the end of the Cold War and a significant shift in the global economy. President Bill Clinton had just been inaugurated, and Americans were adapting to the technological advancements of the 1990s. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was busy producing millions of coins to meet the demand for currency. Among these coins was the 1994 5-cent piece, or nickel, which would end up having a lasting impact on the world of coin collecting. Now, let's take a step back and discuss the history of the nickel, which has been in circulation for over 150 years. The 5-cent coin made its debut in 1866, following the creation of the famous shield nickel. Since then, the design of the nickel has changed several times, but it has always served as an essential part of American currency. Over the decades, the nickel has featured a variety of designs, some commemorating important figures and events in U.S. history. BY 1994, the nickel was no stranger to change. The coin's design had undergone multiple iterations, and by this point, the iconic Jefferson nickel design had been in use since 1938. This design featured a portrait of President Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the obverse, or front, of the coin. On the reverse, or back, the Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia plantation home, was depicted, representing Jefferson's legacy as one of the country's founding fathers and a symbol of American architecture. The 1994 nickel was part of the standard issue of the Jefferson nickel series, continuing this long-standing design. The coin was produced in large numbers, as it was the 5th year of the Jefferson nickel's continued circulation under the 1938 design. Over the years, this design had become synonymous with American currency, serving as an important symbol of the country's past. But while the 1994 nickel may have looked like every other coin of its time, the reality is that it held some unique qualities. The coin's mintage was relatively large in comparison to other years, with over 1 billion 1994 nickels produced by the U.S. Mint in Denver and Philadelphia. While this might suggest that the coin is abundant and not particularly rare, things aren't always so straightforward in the world of coin collecting. The 1994 nickel, like many other coins, has certain characteristics that make it valuable in certain circumstances. One of the most notable of these is the phenomenon of mint errors. The U.S. Mint, despite its careful attention to detail, occasionally produces coins that feature mistakes during the minting process. These errors can range from slight defects in the design to more pronounced issues that make a coin stand out. The more rare and unusual the error, the more desirable and valuable the coin becomes to collectors. As we'll see in just a moment, this concept is central to understanding the immense value of certain 1994 nickels. That it's important to note that not all 1994 nickels are valuable. In fact, the majority of these coins, like most regular circulation coins, are worth only their face value, 5 cents. However, as collectors know, it's the special cases that make the world of numismatics so intriguing. The 1994 nickel that has captivated the attention of collectors is a particular variety that was struck with a remarkable error, making it an exceedingly rare find. This error occurs with a specific die that was used to mint some of the 1994 nickels. Due to an issue with the die alignment, a number of 1,994 nickels were struck with a clear, noticeable doubling effect on certain parts of the design. This phenomenon, known as die doubling, happens when the coin is struck more than once by a misaligned die. The result is a coin with a blurry or doubled image, which is highly visible in certain areas of the coin, such as Jefferson's portrait and the inscription around the edge of the coin. These double die nickels are a highly sought-after variety, and their rarity has made them a valuable addition to many coin collections. The 1994 die doubling error, while not incredibly widespread, is rare enough that collectors have been willing to pay significant amounts for a specimen in good condition. As time goes on, these errors become even more prized by collectors, as fewer of them remain in circulation and as they become harder to find in uncirculated condition. The rarity of the 1994 double die nickel has led to it being valued at an extraordinary price. Coins with this particular error can command anywhere from a few $100s for lower quality specimens to several $1,000s for those in better condition. But the real star of the show, the true gem of this error coin, is the specimen that has been well preserved and graded by experts in the field. For the highest quality coins, the value can skyrocket. The highest recorded sale of a 1994 double die nickel has reached an astonishing $57,000. Yes, you read that right. One of these 1994 nickels with the die doubling error and in pristine condition has been known to fetch a whopping $57,000 in a competitive coin auction. This price point might seem staggering for a coin that originally circulated at just 5 cents. But in the world of numismatics, rarity and condition are everything. The 1994 double die nickel is incredibly scarce, and as more collectors become aware of its existence, its value has only continued to climb. A coin that, on its own, seems relatively mundane is now one of the most sought-after varieties in the world of U.S. coin collecting. So, how do you go about finding one of these rare 1994 double die nickels? The first step is to look through your own coin collection or spare change. While the chances of finding a 1994 nickel with this error are slim, it's certainly worth keeping an eye out for. If you do happen to find one, be sure to inspect it carefully. Look for the clear signs of doubling on Jefferson's portrait, the words "Liberty," and the date. If you believe you've found one, it's important to have the coin professionally graded and authenticated. A certified coin is not only more valuable but also much easier to sell or trade. Of course, not every 1994 nickel is going to have this error. But don't be discouraged. There are still plenty of other valuable coins to discover, especially from different years and minting errors. The world of coin collecting is vast and full of hidden treasures, and the 1994 nickel with a double die is just one example of how a small mistake in the minting process can turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary collectible. As we wrap up, it's clear that the 1994 USA 5-cent coin has a unique place in the world of coin collecting. While most 1994 nickels will never be worth more than their face value, the few that were struck with a die doubling error have become highly prized by collectors. Thanks to their rarity and unique characteristics, these error coins have earned the 1994 nickel a spot in the history books as one of the most valuable nickels of the modern era. And there you have it. The 1994 double die nickel, if in excellent condition, can be worth an incredible $57,000, making it a true hidden gem for collectors. Keep an eye out for this rare variety, and who knows, you might just have a fortune sitting in your pocket. In 2005, the United States Mint introduced a series of $quarter-dollar coins as part of a special initiative to celebrate the nation's diverse history and its various states. These coins were not just ordinary quarters. They were designed to honor the 50 states, each with its own unique reverse design. But among these coins, one stands out for its rarity, history, and immense collector value. Today, we're diving into the story behind the 2005 USA $quarter coin, exploring its origins, its design, its minting, and most importantly, its current value. Stick with us until the end to discover just how much one of these coins can be worth today. It's the year 2005. The United States had been using the same designs on its quarters for nearly 70 years. The familiar image of George Washington, the first president of the United States, adorned the obverse, while the reverse of the coin was pretty much a blank canvas, save for the words E pluribus unum and a small design depicting an eagle. However, a change was in the air. The U.S. Mint had just introduced a program that would forever alter the way the nation's quarters were viewed. This program, known as the 50-State Quarters Program, was aimed at honoring each of the 50 states, with a unique design on the reverse of each coin. The first state to be honored was Delaware, followed by Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and so on. By the time 2005 rolled around, a number of states had already been featured in the program, but the year also marked a milestone with the release of 5 more state quarters. These coins were significant for many reasons, one of which was the artistry and care put into their design. Let's start with the design of the 2005 $quarter coins. Each state had the opportunity to submit designs that reflected a significant feature of their state's history or natural landmarks. For example, the quarter representing California featured a grizzly bear, a symbol of the state's wild past. West Virginia's quarter, on the other hand, showcased the state's natural beauty, with the image of the New River Gorge Bridge. It's this level of detail and creativity that made each of these coins special. And for collectors, this meant that each quarter told a story of its own. But not all of these quarters were minted in equal quantities. Some designs were produced in limited numbers, and these are the coins that collectors look for. This brings us to the 2005 coin that has truly captured the attention of collectors, the 2005 Kansas State Quarter. While many of the 2005 state quarters are valuable in their own right, the Kansas Quarter in particular stands out. The design of the Kansas Quarter features a unique depiction of a buffalo, with the words Kansas and home on the range written around the image. This coin was part of the larger collection of state quarters, but it wasn't until later that its true significance would come to light. What makes the 2005 Kansas Quarter so valuable is an error that occurred during its minting process. A rare variety of this quarter, known as the "In God We Rust" error, has gained a reputation in the numismatic world for its scarcity and historical significance. The error occurred when a die used to strike the coin became worn, resulting in the words, "In God We Trust," being slightly distorted. The error was not widespread, but it was significant enough that those who found it held on to these coins, knowing that they were something special. The 2005 Kansas "In God We Rust" quarter is one of the most coveted coins among collectors, and its value has only increased over time. In fact, depending on the condition of the coin, it can now be worth tens of thousands of dollars. But even without the error, the 2005 Kansas Quarter is still highly sought after by collectors, and its value continues to grow as more people become aware of its historical and cultural significance. It's important to remember that the value of a coin is influenced by several factors. These factors include the coin's rarity, condition, and the specific minting process it underwent. Coins that were minted with errors tend to be more valuable because they are seen as rare anomalies in an otherwise uniform series. Collectors are always on the lookout for these kinds of mistakes, as they provide a unique story to the coin's history. And for those who collect coins for their monetary value, it's this rarity that drives up the price. To understand the rarity of the 2005 Kansas Quarter, we must first look at the numbers. The U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters each year, but only a small fraction of these quarters are ever discovered to have errors. The "In God We Rust" error, for example, is incredibly rare, and only a few dozen of these coins have been found in circulation. As a result, they are highly sought after by numismatists and collectors. The condition of the coin is also an important factor in determining its value. Coins that are in mint condition, meaning they have little to no wear and tear, are worth significantly more than those that have been in circulation for years and show signs of heavy use. So, you might be wondering, how much is one of these rare 2005 Kansas "In God We Rust" quarters actually worth? Well, depending on its condition, a coin can fetch anywhere from a few $100s to an astonishing $45,000. Yes, you heard that right, $45,000. The price can vary depending on the specific coin, its condition, and the current market demand. But even in lower grades, this coin can still fetch a handsome sum. For those looking to find one of these valuable coins, the best approach is to keep an eye on online auction sites and coin dealers. If you're lucky enough to find one in your change, consider yourself fortunate. These rare coins are not just valuable because of their potential monetary worth, but because they serve as a reminder of the rich history and the tiny imperfections that make certain coins stand out from the rest. If you're a collector or simply someone with an interest in U.S. currency, the 2005 USA $quarter coin is a great example of how a seemingly ordinary coin can become a treasure. From its artistic design to its unintentional error, the Kansas State Quarter shows us that even the smallest details can make a big impact. The U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program brought new life to the nation's coins, allowing each state to tell its own story, one quarter at a time. And while there are many valuable coins from this program, the 2005 Kansas Quarter with the "In God We Rust" error stands out as a true gem in the world of numismatics. As we wrap up this deep dive into the 2005 USA $quarter coin, I want to remind you that the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. A seemingly simple quarter can have a backstory, a history, and a value that you might not expect. So, the next time you're at a coin shop or going through your spare change, take a closer look. You might just stumble upon a hidden treasure. And there you have it, folks. The 2005 Kansas "In God We Rust" quarter has a potential value of up to $45,000, depending on its condition. A truly remarkable find for any collector, and a testament to how one small error can turn a regular coin into something extraordinary. Happy collecting, and who knows, maybe your next quarter is worth a small fortune. When we think about coins, the first thing that probably comes to mind is the humble penny, small, copper-like, and often overlooked in our daily lives. It's the 1-cent piece that's been with us for over a century, symbolizing the essence of American currency. But, as with many things in the world of collecting, even the most ordinary items can hold extraordinary value if you know where to look. Take the 2017 USA 1-cent coin, for example. It might seem like just another penny that you toss into your spare change jar without thinking twice about it. However, the truth is that some 2017 pennies are incredibly rare and highly coveted by collectors. In today's video, we're diving deep into the history, design, minting process, and collector appeal of the 2017 1-cent coin. Stick around until the end to learn just how much some of these pennies are worth today. Spoiler alert, one could be worth as much as $18,000. Let's set the scene. It's the year 2017. The United States Mint is hard at work, churning out billions of coins to meet the nation's needs. At that point, the 1-cent coin, also known as the penny, had been in circulation for over 100 years. It had undergone various changes in design and composition, yet remained an essential part of the U.S. monetary system. And 2017, in many ways, was no different than any other year in terms of minting routine. Yet, as it often happens in the world of numismatics, an ordinary coin would end up capturing the attention of collectors across the world due to its rarity, errors, and potential for high value. The history of the penny is fascinating, stretching back to the early days of the United States. The first 1-cent coin was introduced in 1793, and it was initially made of copper. Over the years, the design of the penny changed several times, but one of the most significant moments in its history occurred in 1909. That was the year the U.S. Mint released the Lincoln cent, a coin that has become synonymous with the penny ever since. The obverse front of the coin features a portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, and the reverse depicts a simple but powerful image, two wheat stalks, symbolizing the agricultural foundation of America. But in 1959, the design of the penny was updated once again. To commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the U.S. Mint introduced the now famous Lincoln Memorial Reverse, which remained in use until 2008. In 2009, to mark the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth, the Mint released a series of special reverse designs, but by 2010, the classic Lincoln Memorial Reverse was reinstated as the standard. Fast forward to 2017. The penny was still a key part of American currency, though its role in daily transactions had begun to diminish. With inflation and rising costs, many people found the penny less and less useful. Despite this, the penny continued to be minted, and in 2017, the same Lincoln design that had graced the coin for decades was still in place, with a few minor updates and refinements. The obverse of the 2017 penny showed a bust of President Lincoln, just as it had since 1909, while the reverse depicted a shield, symbolizing the strength of the United States. But while the 2017 penny may have appeared to be just another addition to the ongoing series, there was something about this particular year that made it stand out. Like many coins produced by the U.S. Mint, the 2017 penny was subject to various factors that could influence its rarity and value. One such factor was the coin's mintage process, which is where things get interesting. Each year, the U.S. Mint produces millions of pennies to meet the demands of the nation's currency system. However, not all coins are created equal. Some coins are struck with a higher degree of precision and quality, while others are minted with slight imperfections or errors that can make them more desirable to collectors. The 2017 penny is no exception to this rule. One of the most significant reasons why the 2017 penny has garnered attention is because of the potential for minting errors. While the U.S. Mint strives for perfection, mistakes happen. In fact, some of these mistakes can turn an ordinary penny into a highly sought-after collectible. Errors can range from minor issues like off-center strikes to more dramatic flaws like die cracks or double dies. The 2017 penny is notable for a few specific errors that have sparked interest in the numismatic community. One such error is the 2017 double die penny, which occurs when the coin is struck multiple times by a misaligned die, resulting in a clear doubling effect on certain elements of the design. This error is particularly noticeable on the lettering around President Lincoln's portrait, with some coins displaying a dramatic, double image of the word liberty and the year 2017. These double die pennies are incredibly rare, and when they do appear, they are highly prized by collectors. Another error that has made the 2017 penny a sought-after item is the 2017 off-center penny. In this case, the coin is struck improperly, resulting in an image that is misaligned and appears off-center. This creates a unique, irregular design on the coin that sets it apart from other pennies. Off-center errors like this are especially intriguing to collectors because they are uncommon and difficult to find. A well-preserved off-center 2017 penny can fetch a significant price at auction. But what about the regular 2017 pennies without any obvious errors? Are they valuable? As you might expect, the answer is a bit more complicated. In general, a typical 2017 penny that has no noticeable defects will still be worth only 1 cent, its face value. However, the true value of a coin is determined by a combination of factors, including its rarity, condition, and demand within the collector market. In the case of the 2017 penny, Certain factors can make it more valuable than its face value. Point 1. Such factor is the condition of the coin. A coin that is in excellent mint condition, without any scratches, dings, or signs of wear, will always be worth more than one that has been heavily circulated. Coins that are preserved in pristine condition are prized by collectors because they retain much of their original beauty and appeal. For example, a 2017 penny that has been graded as a perfect MS-70, the highest grade possible, will be worth far more than one that has been circulating in your pocket for years. So, how much can a 2017 penny be worth? While most 2017 pennies are worth their face value, some of the rarer varieties with minting errors have proven to be extremely valuable. For instance, a well-preserved 2017 double-die penny can be worth thousands of dollars, depending on the quality and the degree of the doubling. However, the true star of the 2017 penny collection is a specific example of the off-center error, which was auctioned for a staggering $18,000. Yes, you heard that right, $18,000. That's how much a rare, high-quality 2017 off-center penny fetched at a major coin auction. The coin, which had been struck slightly off-center, retained its sharp details and was in near-perfect condition, making it an incredibly valuable find. With such a high price tag, it's no wonder that collectors are keeping a close eye on any 2017 pennies they come across. If you're interested in finding a 2017 penny with one of these rare errors, you'll need to keep your eyes peeled and be diligent in your search. You can start by going through your own spare change, looking for any pennies from 2017. Once you've identified a potential candidate, examine it carefully for signs of doubling or off-center striking. If you think you've found something worth investigating, it's a good idea to have the coin professionally graded and authenticated by a trusted numismatist. Not only will this give you a clearer idea of the coin's value, but it will also help ensure that you're not wasting time or money on a coin that isn't as valuable as it seems. In conclusion, the 2017 USA 1-cent coin may seem like just another penny at first glance, but as we've learned today, it has the potential to be much more. Whether it's the rare double die or off-center error varieties, or simply the fact that collectors are always on the lookout for hidden gems, the 2017 penny has earned its place in the numismatic spotlight. And with some of these coins now valued at up to $18,000, it's clear that even the most ordinary coins can become extraordinary treasures. So, the next time you come across a 2017 penny, take a closer look. You never know. It could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Thanks for joining us today as we explored the fascinating world of the 2017 USA 1-cent coin. Happy collecting, and good luck on your next treasure hunt.